Leny Yoro, Leny Yoro, Leny Yoro. Let's go on, come on. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Just a quick emergency positive emergency video here. Give me a sec. I want to just tweet this out and post it. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. What a day. What a day. That was quick. We're cooking. Leny fucking Yoro is here. What a day. Post this. Get everybody in. Let's move this out of the way. Hang on a sec. Da-da-da. Hello, everyone. I know. It's exciting. Exciting news. Exciting times. Let me just post this because I'm just trying to go live real fast. I just clicked live and wanted to talk about some of it because there's some news that's come out immediately that I think is worth mentioning. I think is worth mentioning at the same time as all of this. Some news that is worth mentioning. Now, with the signing of Leny Yoro, there's some things built into there, some things we were wondering about, some things that we've talked about that I think we can now confirm on this deal and kind of what United are doing. Satyajit, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much. Can you believe it? Leny Yoro. There he is. Where did I want to go? Here we go. What an announcement. Kevin Doherty. O'Doherty. Kevin O'Doherty. Look, welcome to, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being a member. Yeah, this is good stuff. Leny Yoro. So, yes, Leny Yoro is here. Leny Yoro is here. He is announced. He is a United player. Can you believe it? Can you believe that we've actually signed Leny Yoro? I mean, incredible stuff. The story, kind of what they're putting out on all of this is really cool too. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about because, you know, obviously the strategy for United has been to kind of chase these young, exceptional talents, these top young players. And, you know, that's going to take a lot to convince them after you've had a season where you're in 8th and kind of the history that that United have had in recent years. But you know, that's what we need to get back to the top. That's what we need to get back to the top. We need young players who are going to turn into the best players. And that's why this is a multi-year project. Is Leny Yoro today the best player at center back? No. But will he be? Yes. If we deal with things right, he will be the best possible center back we could get for the next 10 years. You know, this is getting Varane when we should have gotten Varane, right? Kevin Coley, welcome. Thank you. This is getting Varane when we should have gotten him, you know? And these are important factors in, you know, making this all happen. I mean, honestly, it's incredible stuff. It is incredible stuff that they've pulled this off, that they've managed to get these kind of players in. Leny Yoro, a big part of it. And, I mean, look at the lengths they're going. too. You know, this is really cool that they got Rio in there to talk to him. I thought that was awesome. It's good stuff. I mean, it is really good stuff. Good stuff. Good to see all of this. And so 62 million euros plus some add-ons, and we'll probably, you know, get them all. They'll probably get them all based on kind of how it's been described, right? We'll probably get them all. Good tease here. And again, right after Mason Greenwood was officially sold, which I think there was probably some purpose to putting this announcement at this time, right after you sold Greenwood. I think that was definitely intentional. I think that, you know, you want to get that done with. And that was in the Athletic article, kind of having it both be, it was mentioned, you know, that this is a huge win at the same time as ending a huge controversy in Mason Greenwood and in selling him and him moving on. So, you know, I think that was exceptional as well. United wanted, of course, to get a major center back signing in, a huge one. Obviously, we know that they were considering and have made the multiple offers for Gerard Braithwaite. But there's an important thing that I want to talk about first. And let me go to the Athletic article on this. Just give me 1 second, because I want to talk about this exact point, because it is important and it ties into Joshua Zirkzee as well, and you know, why, kind of the plan moving forward, and I think gives you a little bit of a peek into, you know, what's happening, how Manchester United beat Real Madrid to the signing of Leny Yoro. I definitely recommend reading the entire article. Obviously, they've been planning for this since they got the word the other day and finding it out. You know, Rio Ferdinand talking in there. You know, here's where I was saying there's a feeling within United that getting Yoro in and the impending departure of Mason Greenwood are seismic for multiple reasons. Capturing a generational talent, shifting a controversial player away. And so, you know, that is good stuff. But, you know, we were talking to them, talking about it. Obviously, there's going to be that we're offering good wages, all of that kind of stuff. But where was it? One, United's interest in Yoro predates Ineos taking sporting control of the club in February, but his profile, young, dynamic, and promising, aligns with the new long-term planning. Again, working on things for the 3-5 year plan. People that we can have for a long time. Let me find this one point. And this is what I was going to say. Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox, Barada's fellow newcomers as sporting director and technical director, respectively, were heavily involved. Wilcox flew out to meet Yoro at an early stage in the process to impress the teenager how much United wanted him and how they would work to develop him. I want to focus on this point because there are a few reasons why this is a huge factor in the whole thing. Jason Wilcox has been leading on a lot of the decisions and the planning that we're making, okay? He has a very, very significant role at the club right now. And he is really responsible for looking at how are we playing and how are players going to fit into it and how do we want to go forward. So, you know, when I've in recent videos said, and even to the beginning of a few weeks ago when we started chasing Joshua Zirkzee and I said he was the number one target, the reason I mentioned that is my understanding, and I did share this in the videos, that there's a way Jason Wilcox looking at how do we get the most out of all of our players, right? So there's a flexibility to the front line now by getting Zirkzee in, but it's how we're going to get the most out of Rashford, how we're going to get the most out of Garnacho, how we're going to get the most out of Bruno, how these players are going to fit. And having someone who is exceptionally... everything I've heard about Jason Wilcox is that he's incredibly intelligent, and I mean, even for just like a football guy, like absolutely tops in his understanding, his ability to express what he wants, what he's looking at, all of that. But he's also able to put together this plan and how these players are going to fit and how these players are going to play. And that's the difference now between where we're going and it being purely led by the manager or the coach. This isn't a critique of Ten Hag. This is the new hierarchy. This is the new way that it works. This is how you're going to play. This is how we're going to develop you. This is how you're going to fit into the team. You need that club-led decision making because managers come and go. And when you're trying to convince players who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, you need to convince them of the long-term future, that even if there are changes, good, bad, whatever, you're here for the club. You are signing for Manchester United. That's why you're here. That's what you're signing for. We have a plan. We have a project. Because everyone has seen us fail with coaches. And it's not even a knock on the coaches. We've seen us fail with coaches, and we've seen us pursue certain ways that we're going that haven't worked out. But that's what Jason Wilcox is there to do. So he's brought in Joshua Zirkzee and said, this is how we're going to play. That's going to get the most out of you, and that's going to fit what you want to do best. And now he's done the same thing with Leny Yoro. And I think that is a huge part of showing how we move forward as a club, to have continuity no matter what. You know, we've wanted these players. Now, this is, again, this isn't a critique, of the manager, because I know people give me that, but it is the point. They were holding up on someone that was maybe more what the manager wanted, from more of that he agrees with this signing, and make no mistake about it. Erik ten Hag wants Leny Yoro. Very exciting. He will be very excited and on board with this too. But that there really is a club direction, and you have the involvement of the CEO, the sporting director, and the technical director all pushing their hardest to get this done. Same with Joshua Zirkzee. And that is a huge factor in convincing these players. Okay? It's really a conjoined effort of everybody working together, but a club direction, which is what we need no matter what, moving ahead. So that part is extremely exciting. And then, the final point that I think is very worthwhile mentioning is, of course, what comes next after this. We know that United want 2 center backs potentially, but they're likely to depend on sales and space in the squad. I talked about this on this morning's video, that we are sell to buy at this point in time. We've committed to an outlay of 104.5 million euros, right? That we know. That is a lot. Okay, that's what we've spent at this point in time, committed to this summer. But we've gotten a few sales. Kambuala, we've got, Greenwood out now. Those are big factors in helping us move forward. Ben McAuliffe, any chance of United going in for Neves James? Probably not. That seems a bit unlikely at this point in time. And the way that it's kind of being expressed moving forward is, everybody's got this line now, and it is the basic line, but to understand it is that they want to move forward with, if they can get Braithwaite or De Ligt in, they will, but they're going to need to sell and have more money in order to do that. Realistically, when you look at it, we're kind of at a net 60, 65 right now after sales. Maybe it's 70. We need to sell and make a little more space and get a few more wages off to go make a big offer. Ideally, they would still want Braithwaite because they're also interested in getting a backup left back. That's one thing that Laurie said. This aligns with that he tweeted. I can find that. That he tweeted, but that is certainly well in alignment with what we've talked about. There's concerns over Malasia's return and whether he's going to be fit. As we know, he came back to training on grass this week, as they announced, but that doesn't mean he's ready, and that doesn't mean he's going to be ready for some time. So it's important that United get somebody there. Gerard Braithwaite could be both, but then, if they get a De Ligt, they're still going to need a left back. If they get Braithwaite, he might cover both. And so there might be an idea that if they can sell some players, that it's worth spending over the odds for that. I understand he's not a left back, but in terms of covering. So there's a lot of differences in how there's a lot of different ways that we can approach this, for sure. The thing that I keep saying is a bit unfortunate and odd is in the midfield, is that we're having a hard time moving players on. Casemiro, I was just talking about that in this morning's video, that it's unlikely, it's becoming less likely that Saudi are coming in for him. One, because they're more pursuing younger players and they want to get players before they're out of their prime. And two, because there's concerns over his fitness. I've been speaking about that, about whether he still has the legs left, which is our concerns as well. So we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to the future of McTominay moving forward, and see what happens in terms of his discussions, right? And, that is definitely part of the concerns on this too, is they need to make a sale there. They're interested still in Ugarte. They don't want to pay a big fee for him, so they need to get him on either a loan or a decent fee. And if they cannot get a big sale, if they cannot get a player in on a fee that they want, then they're looking at, similar to Amrabat, where they're doing a loan with an option, a loan with an obligation, it potentially, maybe conditional. And Ugarte could fit into that. And if they would accept a loan, PSG I mean, then it would be far more likely that he would be able to be obtained, no doubt about that. So yeah, there's a lot still up in the air right now, but I think the biggest factor moving forward is that they're going to sign players that fit the long-term project. And when I was saying I see it a little bit difficult to sign De Ligt and Leny Yoro, it's because you're looking at him as a foundational piece to this project. Lisandro Martinez is your foundational piece on the left. It's going to be hard to convince both De Ligt and Leny Yoro that they're the foundational piece for the same position. Now, maybe De Ligt would still be interested because Ten Hag's the manager. He thinks he's going to play a lot more. But that makes it a little bit more challenging, and we do need to sell more and get out in order to buy anyway. And it's still why, Braithwaite could make a little more sense. He's better coverage for both sides, better left foot dynamics, and he's a better profile match for Leny Yoro in terms of a player who defends the spaces and channels and things like that. But anyway, this is good stuff. This is very exciting. Yeah, it just is. And I think that's why moving forward, when you look at Wilcox selling the project, look at some of the things that have happened. Getting that false nine in to get the most out of Rashford and Garnacho. I said that it was my understanding that Jason Wilcox was someone really pushing for that dynamic so that we could get more out of the good players we have, Rashford, Bruno, Garnacho, and didn't want to lose them. And Højlund too, who can definitely play in that system and alongside them. And I think it's pretty clear that is what we are doing, and we are pushing in that direction. And there is a club-led way we want to build the team moving forward. And Ten Hag's job, along with Van Nistelrooy and René Hake, is going to be put that together on the pitch, right? That's going to be his job, is carrying that out, and that's what he's going to be judged on. When you're bringing in young players who are less proven in the Premier League, like Leny Yoro, like Joshua Zirkzee, and you're playing with them, then how would I put this? You definitely have a little more leeway in terms of results, but what's vital is that you have a real way of playing that develops these players well. If Leny Yoro is facing 25 shots per game, that's not going to work, okay? That he's not going to develop into a top player that way, okay? So there's a lot that has to happen here. But Jason Wilcox certainly kind of leading on how the project is going to fit in terms of the football itself, how we're going to play. He's been here the longest. He's been making the assessments in terms of, Barada and Ashworth, and is the most experienced in this area. And so it's really good to see. And I think, overall is only leading to major, major positives for us. So, yes, this is obviously they have made a decision on the way they want to play, and that's why we're pursuing this. So it makes a lot of sense to me. A high line, you now get a really, one of potentially the best space defenders, right? If you look at the Vidic and Rio dynamic, the Varane and Ramos dynamic, you recreate this with Leny Yoro and Lisandro Martinez. So you can press high, you can work high, but you have someone who can actually defend the spaces really well, which Leny Yoro can do. You have Joshua Zirkzee to drop in to make those forwards a little more narrow potentially, and to run in those channels. So I see a plan forming. I see a real plan forming. I really do, and it's and they all fit in quite well together. The big question is obviously the midfield. We all know, but there's also a couple of different strategies. There's also a couple of different approaches that I do think are worth mentioning in terms of how you build a team, right? Do you want to like, you want to get, like, if you look at Yoro, you look at Zirkzee, you look at this plan, they're getting players that only fit into this plan, right? In terms of how they move forward. You need the same in the midfield. And I think that's part of the challenge, is that can you afford it? You want players who fit into this plan and can develop into there. And you don't want to spend money willy-nilly, you know, or on players that aren't going to fit into it, because it's not about this season. It's about the next 3 years, the next 5 years. When you're buying players like Yoro and Zirkzee, you're not... Yes, you want them to perform now, and both of them are very good players, but you want players that will fit for the next 3 to 5 years, and that is the big question. And that's where, you know, if they can raise funds, I think they'll spend good on getting the right person and whoever that is. But, you know, the challenge is Leny Yoro is an unmissable talent. There probably isn't that player in the midfield. Joshua Zirkzee maybe is unmissable, but he's probably the best striker opportunity on the market, and a profile they needed. So bear in mind, the best, I think Joshua Zirkzee at his price is the best forward opportunity that fit the profile that they wanted. Leny Yoro is the best, absolute best center back prospect on the market. Who's that in the midfield? Who is that in the midfield? That's my question that I would ask you. You know, give me some answers on that, because I don't think it's João Neves. I think there's a lot of risks with João Neves. I think he's a really good player, but there's a lot of risks with him, and that's why we're not seeing such a clear answer, if you know what I mean. That's what I'm kind of getting at, is that I don't see the clear out and out best opportunity on the market out there. Unmissable player, right? Because we have him. It's Kobbie Mainoo. Yes, exactly. It's Kobbie Mainoo. They didn't think it was Amadou Onana, or they would have gone for him. A lot of people are saying Zubimendi, but we've watched Zubimendi for a long time. Are we sure? Does he want to leave Spain? How expensive would be? What price would he be at? Is he at a... Realize these are also decent deals, okay? Yeah, and that's the complication. And then the factor of that, you probably need two. So if you can't get him, Adam Wharton. That's a good idea. Maybe next year. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, because you take a player like Adam Wharton, that might be the answer. But he's not available this year. He's not available this year, Tubbs. No way, Tubbs. Wait to spend big for Wharton in the future. Agreed. But that's sort of my point. What if the player they want isn't available to next year? Then you don't want to spend big now. You don't want to handicap your midfield. So you get somebody who helps, right? You get somebody who helps right now. You get somebody who can help right now, but doesn't handicap you for the future. And that's where I think Ugarte comes into the consideration. But that might also be why you're looking at loans. If you think about it, you're looking at loans. You're looking at loans because you potentially need that person for the future, right? That makes sense to me. I can think with that. If there's somebody in the future you think you want to spend big on next year, then do a loan now, and next year go and get them. And if that's like an Adam Wharton or something like that, you know, then it makes sense. I got to share this really quick. This is our good friend Drole, Dr. Ole, who makes fantastic, wonderful things here. Hang on. I'm going to see if this actually plays the audio. Give it a watch. Give it a watch. So excited about it. I think they're too exciting. So I'll cut it out and it's copyright. Right. Not worried about it. But go give it a watch on Twitter anyway, or X or whatever the hell it's called these days. I'll cut it out. It's on a live. I feel like I'll get away with it. We'll see. Maybe not. But yeah, very exciting times. So yeah, that's my question. You know, that's my question when it comes to the midfield. Who's that unmissable player? Maybe nobody. Maybe nobody now. Maybe it's Adam Wharton in the future. Maybe it's somebody else. You know, not sure, but we will find out. We will find out who that person is in the future. He's not playing in the Olympics. He has to get his work permit. So yeah, I mean, that's the issue. So that's why I think, like, you know, if they could get Ugarte on a loan, they would get him even with an option or conditional obligation to bring in someone who can help and replace kind of Casemiro right now. But maybe their best target is in the future. Maybe their best target is in the future. And that's why it's not clear. Like, when you look at our strategy, it's not really surprising. Leny Yoro is a top target we've been pursuing for a few months. Joshua Zirkzee is a top target we've been pursuing. We had to convince both to join us. Realize that. Zirkzee was close to AC Milan, and obviously Leny Yoro was almost to Madrid. You know, so yeah, these are top targets that we're going for now, that we're convincing. So I don't know if there's that player in the midfield right now. I don't. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's next year. Maybe we can't afford it now. Maybe we need a little bit more money. Talk about having a spine of English players. I know. Well, it wasn't really English players, but young, talented Premier League experienced players. And to be fair, they made the offer for Gerard Braithwaite. They were very interested in Elise, who was viewed as a top talent as well, but they just couldn't do the finances. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see in the coming days what happens in the midfield. If we can get a sale, if we can get somebody else in there, if we can get a loan for Ugarte. There's still a lot of talk outside of England about Ugarte, and the talk's continuing and all of that. So we'll see what happens. Represented by the same guy who just brought us Leny Yoro, by the way. So maybe they'll work on a deal there. Anyway, I don't want to take too much longer. That was really all I wanted to share today, you know, to do this video. Any other questions I'll answer right now, and then I'll end it there. But, you know, just celebrating the Leny Yoro, that's the guy. It's just a good day. It's just a good day. I did not think we would be able to make this happen. I mean, I got a little bit definitely optimistic once the deal started stalling and some of the things I've heard, but Rabiot, I haven't heard anything on Rabiot. I haven't heard that we're interested in him at this point in time. Yoro does speak English. He was talking to Rio on the video. You can see it. He's young. I mean, and here's the thing. If Collier is going to play, then that's fine if we get like Ugarte as well. I'd be okay with signing one if it's that for this season, and then, you know, see how it goes. It was 62 million euros up front. Some of that might be agent fees. I did explain that this morning as well. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna leave it there because I just wanted to talk about this, discuss it. It's all going well. They're about to leave. Again, I'll see you all on the tour. Anybody who's going out to LA and all of that, I look forward to seeing you there. And enjoy the rest of your day. And let's see what else comes. Okay. Oh, 62 million euros. Yeah. Thank you, Mac. All right, guys. Leny.